Alright, we are filming. This is Emily and Jen showing you how to do a corrective glamour makeup.
Okay, so I'm starting with concealer around the eyes to just bring out the highlight more. So look up at the ceiling. So it's quite a few shades lighter than your actual skin tone. But we're going to put the foundation over that and it's going to have a more natural highlight but still show up. For more dramatic, we'll probably touch it up and then towards the end, but blend it so it's not like just white. Okay, go ahead and close.
So this is a liquid foundation that you're putting on with a brush.
Yes, brushes are my preference just because it's cleaner. They're easier to use to apply, a smoother application and blend. I mean, you can use cream concealer, but for this particular beginning, I like using this one because it's a longer wear, so it would last really well under bright lights or on stage. Kind of got the base started. I get the foundation. Like blending up from the jawline. And just the main thing is like you don't have to press really hard with the brush. It's just like lightly applying it and smoothing it over the face. The brush does most of the work. That's why I like brushes that have circular bundles. Look at the ceiling. Getting close. So now I've got the base. I'm going to start with the highlighting and shadows. So right above the cheekbone, start with the highlights. First I like to kind of do it all over the face so you can know where to put it. It's basically anywhere the light hits your face and shines the most, that's where you want the highlight to be.
So we've got the nose, above the brow, the cheekbones, and the chin so far.
Yes. as you're doing it, yeah, it looks a little bit weird at first, but the main thing is you're going to be blending it all together, so it's not going to be so stark. Still dramatic to show up on stage, but still nicely blended as well. Can you look at the ceiling?
No, you're doing fine. My arms are just getting tired.
Okay. Look at the ceiling.
There, not stripy at all.
And for the shadows, you want to go quite a bit darker than your actual skin tone. And then for the placement, I like lining up with the ear and under where the jaw is. This is where you want it to be darkest, and then you kind of fade it. Tell him to turn the other. Oh, there we go. Face forward. This is just going to help the nose be more angular and thinner. And along the jaw. So it's basically framing the bone structure and bringing it out more.
So far we have under the cheekbone, down the side of the nose, under the chin, under the jawline, and on the forehead by the hairline.
Yes.
My arms are getting tired. You're doing fine. We will edit out all this mess.
Blender. Just start blending it all together. Now I'd like to start with creams as the base, but then to deepen the shadows, I'll go over it with the powder. I like the smoothness of the powder, and it just, I think it helps bring the look together more for a more full finished look.
There. See, blending away all the stripiness.
For the neckline, I like to blend it down a little bit. Because there's naturally a shadow cast right here, and so just, it looks fine, you know, having it pulled down a little bit lower on the neck.
So we've got our highlights on, we've got our shadows on. What's next?
So now I'm going to start with a little bit of the powders that I have to just soften and increase the depth around right here. I'm going to go over it with a loose powder just to kind of even everything out and blend it, blend the highlights and the shadows together better.
And this will set the cream makeup.
And close.
So all of this is contouring that we learned about last week, and we haven't actually done any color yet, but we will. And that's going to change contouring into glamour makeup is the color.
Yes. So basically you first want to have a nice base to work with before you put the color on. So see, it's really nice. Turn your head this way. So you've got a good highlight, good shadows.
And she's not at all stripy.
Yeah, everything, the key is blending.
Blending.
You want everything to smoothly transition from one shade to the next and just really complement the artist's face the best. That's the whole point, is to accentuate the natural features.
Because if you end up stripy, you didn't do enough blending.
That is true. So for the eye makeup, I like to start with a little bit of a base. It's actually a cream eyeshadow, but I like using it because it's a neutral color and it helps the actual powder eyeshadows last longer.
And we certainly don't want our makeup to start dripping off before
No.
intermission.
I actually will even use it as a highlight sometimes to look at. And this is one that, you know, it's like you just dab it on with your fingers. Okay, close. And before using your hands to apply makeup, you want to make sure and sanitize them. So that is something that I did. You want to make sure and wash your hands and sanitize them first, especially if you're going to be doing other people's makeup as well. Tilt your face towards me.
Yes, hygiene is very important. We don't want to spread disease.
Yeah. If you use brushes, make sure and clean them. If you use sponges, make sure and throw them away after you've used them a couple times and get some clean ones.
I'm going to use hot soapy water to clean out all your tools. Make sure you get all the makeup out. So you're starting with clean tools every time.
Yes. So, I like using this one brush to do a full eye makeup look, and the colors I got.
Here, let me pan down. There we go.
So there's a lot of, you know, neutrals. You've got your browns, your pinks, your blacks. So it gives you a lot to work with. This is a nice color range to have. So I like to start first with just kind of like a basic beige. Just go over the eye area. Sometimes creams, you can't blend them all the way, so then you get your brush and your powder and that just smooths everything out. So look at the ceiling. So this is the one I'm using right here. So it's not white, but it works good as a highlight. Now I'm probably going to use something a little bit brighter than that one for the actual highlight by the brow, but that we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So working with different eye shapes, one of the main things you want to take into consideration is you might have to adjust the placement, but the main thing is you're wanting to make the eye look more open and wide. So having the dark right here is going to bring out the front more. We're going to do a highlight right here. So first, doing the dark. Okay, open. See how that's already making our eyes stand out more?
I've got it zoomed in on just her eyes. So you're putting a shadow in the crease and a highlight underneath the brow.
Yeah, sometimes I like to apply close to the lid, and then as I blend up, the excess moves into the crease. So it's like pressing it, press the product, and then blend up. Just kind of swipe back and forth. So I'm starting with the highlight.
There we go.
Bringing it towards near the tear duct. Right here. So tilt the face that way. So you can see. And then pulling it all the way out to the end of the brow. Okay, and let's do the other side. So it's basically using the same principles that we did for contouring and highlighting the face, just around the eye area. First, use our shadow for the crease and then the highlight. Go ahead and close your eyes. So now I'm using like this soft pink. On the lid, just pressing it and blending it out. Now I'm going to go in with a darker color in the crease. I like using a lighter brown just to start. So then I think let's use this one right here. Just press there. So doing the lighter brown kind of gives us a guide on where we want to place it. See, mainly I'm putting the product right here on the outside of the lid and then just blending it up. Okay, open. You can see the difference. Just blend it a little bit more. thing is like you're packing it on, and then as you blend, that's how you get the product on. Because when you first put the shadow on the brush, there's a lot. You don't want to just start blending because then it'll go everywhere. So you want to just place it where you're wanting it to go, and then once you have it there, and after you've packed it on, then you can start blending and moving the shadow more into the crease. So now we're going to take a break from the eyes and work on the brows. I like having a nice angle brush. It's small, but that means you have more control and can really shape the brow. So when doing brows, you want to see where it starts and ends. You want to line up the end to the edge of the nose to the corner of the mouth. So I first start by shaping the bottom part. So see how it lines up right there, and it's all very symmetrical. Okay, turn forward. Thank you.
We're using a brush, not a pencil, so you have more control over where the color goes.
Well, and you can use a variety of colors. It's like we could do purple if we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different variations when it comes to eyeshadows. That gives you more flexibility for, you know, stage makeup when you have to do something that's a little bit more out of the box, like for Alice in Wonderland or A Midsummer Night's Dream, you know, shows where the characters are going to have more colors and be more fanciful creatures. So you're basically working with the shape of the eye and figuring out how thick you want the brow to be, because you want it to show up but not be too much. So
because the eyebrows frame the eye.
So it's better to start small and then build instead of just going all out and doing a really dramatic brow, because it's easier to take away, you know, from starting out smaller and then working your way up. So now I'm starting with the blush, and close to where, you know, we did the highlighting and stuff, and you want to keep in mind, you know, where the shadow is, and you're wanting to, you know, accentuate the cheeks with a rosy color. So one way is just by, you know, kind of lining it up like this, or you can have the person smile and then just like right there, just lightly tap the powder on, and then once you have it on, then blend it in a little bit more. So what you'll constantly hear is blending. That is going to be the main thing, blending and placement.
Switch.
Okay, smile. And for the blushes, I like using something that's maybe a little bit more of a pink or peachy tone, not quite so pink, because unless it fits the character, you generally want to go on a more natural palette with the colors for the cheeks, I think. Especially for glamour makeup. So now for the eyeliner, I'm going to use a gel. The gel is great because you can use it around the eye area or even on the face.
So tell me what you just did. Tell the camera what you just did.
So I scooped out some of the black gel liner. I'm using my hand as a palette. I'm just kind of putting it right there. And then I've got this nice small brush.
Because what you don't want to do is stick your brush into a big thing of cream black.
Yes.
And then try to wipe it all over somebody's eye because
Yes,
you'll be sad. So that was an important thing to show everybody. Get a very tiny brush for the black.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
So look down. Just starting along the lash line. And honestly, I think using a brush, you have more control than a pencil because you're able to control the amount of product. With the pencil, it just can go everywhere and smear. So now I want you to look down and to the outside. Tilt your chin up a little bit. There we go. Now you don't have to rush. It's like you just blend, keep it along the lash line. Okay, look forward. All right, look down again.
This is very subtle. This is not a big gobby smear of black.
Yeah, the whole thing is you want to keep it more toned down, simple. And once you add the eyeliner, you know, on the bottom and then the mascara, the look just comes together even more. So it's the little steps, it all comes together in the end. So I'm just going to move to the other side now.
Here.
Okay, so look down. The main thing is like you don't have to rush. You can just do one little swipe. Get a little bit of product and then connect. And now look down onto the outside. You want to keep it as small as you can because it's easier to build into a more dramatic look if that's what you're wanting.
You can always put on more. It's really hard to take
away.
off.
Yes. Less is more, you know, with the process because, yeah, it's so much easier to add a little bit than try to take off like this whole elaborate Amy Winehouse cat eye. So I am going to give it a little bit of a wing. Just barely. And see, the thing is you want to line it in with the bottom lash line. Just barely. There we go.
If you lift the eyeliner up at the end, it gives a more youthful appearance to the eye. You never ever want to take it down because that will make your eyes look sad or old.
So,
I mean, unless your character needs to be
look
sad or old.
So now look up. I always like to do a little bit right here. I kind of think of this eyeliner as the Disney princess eyeliner. It's like the placement and where you're putting it. It's, you know, it just brings the eyes out more. It's all light. The most is going to be right here at the corners, and then it just fades to really light, barely there. Since it's staged though, I am going to put a little bit more. Alright.
And you're only taking the eyeliner halfway from the outer corner to the middle of the eye.
So you want to put your brush right here, and you don't want to cross the iris. You want to keep it right here. It never should go past that point for this type of application.
So, and that's giving us the illusion of more space between the eyes, so a wider set eye, if the shadow goes on the outside corners.
Which traditionally that's considered, you know, the most beautiful shape. All eye shapes, I think, are beautiful, but predominantly in Glamour makeup, this is what you'll see. The whole goal is to make the eyes wider and more youthful. Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Now to do the mascara. A trick I've learned is look forward. Okay, apply some of the mascara on the top of the lash. Okay. And now blink, like closing your eye, and then twist up with mascara on. So that way it separates each lash and gives it a really nice, defined but volumized look. And holding the brow up a little bit helps prevent any excess mascara getting on the lid.
Which we don't want. We don't want specky eyelids. Here.
Sorry.
That's okay. I can edit all that stuff out.
Okay. Forward. So these are techniques that I use every makeup application I do.
And especially with actresses and actors whose hair color is naturally fair and their eyelashes don't show up that well, you definitely want to use a dark mascara application to, again, frame the eye. And Jen's eyelashes are so blonde that they wouldn't show up at all on stage.
But she has gorgeous lashes. So it's just getting that product on there to make them stand out more.
Yep, so you can see them. Perfect.
Okay, now just look forward. Just lightly apply a little bit on the bottom. That's honestly why I like this wand so much, is because it's smaller. You have more control. You're able to get close to the eye without having to worry as much about poking them in the eye. You have a little, the product goes on smoother, I think, as well.
What brand of mascara is that?
Now this is MAC Extended Play Giga Black. It's my favorite out of all the mascaras I've tried. I think the wear on it is one of the best. And it really is good at defining the lashes. And this is also good for guys who, you know, they need their eyelashes to stand out maybe a little bit more, but they don't want them like, oh my god, you're wearing mascara. This is really good because it gives you the ability to, you know, shape where the placement of the mascara is. You can volumize it more, or if you're just wanting to have a little bit more of that darkness, I guess, you can just like apply it right here on the tips.
Awesome. And we're rolling.
So just like a little curve right there. Open just a little bit wider, so you want to have the product reaching from here as well. The actual shape. Yeah, for red lips or any type of lip color that you're using that's really bright or bold, having a pencil is going to be essential to keep it from bleeding and getting all over the face. And in theater, most lip colors that you're going to be using are going to be more bold. So having good lip pencils is going to be essential. You can also, depending on the product, use the lip pencil on the rest of the face. So now that we've done the lip pencil, we're going to do the lipstick. So I like to dab it on first like that on the bottom lip, and then
there we go.
You can get a brush, just pack it on there. And it gives you a little bit more control with the application, and you can smooth out the lines. I really like using Frost lipsticks because they have that reflective quality, so on stage the lights will catch that and give it a little bit more dimension. Matte lipsticks are also good if you're wanting a really long wear or something to just not shine. It just depends on the look for the character and what's going to suit best the mood of the scene.
If you're doing a period play, you definitely don't want shiny makeup because that won't read as the right period. But anything from the 20s, 30s, 40s and up, then we want, you know, glossy, moist looking, gorgeous lips.
And this is also going to highlight the lips and make them show up more. So I'm just going to
Going around.
to the side.
Okay. So, Emily, if while you're putting your makeup on, if you accidentally get a big old smear of something somewhere it's not supposed to go, what do you do about it?
First, you don't panic.
You certainly don't go to the sink and wash it all off
No.
and start over.
Your best friend is going to be Q-tip. You can just go back over right there. And just blend that. And also, it's a good idea to have a good makeup remover on hand.
When we were doing the photo shoot for the Waco Transit Authority and Jessamine was doing the makeup for the Red Queen from Alice, she'd done the same makeup that we had done on stage, but now this was for a commercial, and so the camera was going to be very much closer to the actress than the stage had been, and she painted on these big black, very severe eyebrows that the camera folk were like, oh no, that's way too much makeup. And so everyone was all panicked. I'm like, no, don't panic. Just let's get a little Q-tip and take off the black.
Yes.
And we'll put some concealer over it and redraw the eyebrow, and it was fine. But you can never, ever, ever wash it all off and start over.
No. Absolutely not.
Not. Squanch.
So then you can go back over it, blend it. Another trick is, okay, so I'm going to have you put your lips together like this. Take your powder. This one. Go over it. Okay.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Alrighty. Look at that. Jen's Glamour makeup. Beautiful. Thank you, Jen. And thank you, Emily.
welcome.
Emily has been our host and our guest makeup artist for today. And if you will check out her awesome
Yes.
work apron with all her products in there, all her tools.
Yes, it definitely makes it easier having them right here so you don't constantly have to go back and forth.
Yeah, and we didn't get a picture of her products beforehand, but I'm going to get one now. So this is all the stuff that
Yes.
she used today. And Emily's been trained in MAC makeup,
Yeah.
went to New York, had an awesome seminar in New York, and she's our now resident expert makeup stylist. So
Yes.
thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, I'll be back.
We'll be back.
And hopefully we'll get to show you some more cool stuff.
Yep, and it'll be awesome.